Hey everyone, welcome back. In this episode, we're going to take a look at building the .NET Core API. Before we dive into Vuex, I actually want to set up this API so we can do a little bit more with the vue-router before we get to Vuex. So what you want to download is the .NET Core SDK here, and we're not going to be using Visual Studio for this. We're going to be using VS Code, so you don't have to worry about downloading that. You can stick to your favorite text editor, okay? So make sure you got that downloaded and installed. So once you got that installed, I'm going to go ahead back into this folder and I'm going to open my terminal and I'm going to double check that .NET Core is installed by typing in .NET, and it can find the CLI tools, so I'm confident it is installed. Let's clear this and let's type in .NET --help, and you can see a bunch of commands. The one that we're interested is creating a new project, and it will be this new command. So let's go ahead and clear this .NET new --help, and here you will see the templates that you're able to create. You might not have as much as I do because I have downloaded some extra templates over the course of time, but what we're going to be looking for is this empty project right here. So let's go ahead and clear this again. .NET new web, and the end flag to specify the name, I'm going to call it .NET-API. Okay, so once that has created, I'm going to go ahead, type in there. There it is. I'm going to go into it, type in there. All right, there are some files in this. I'm not interested. I'm going to type in code space dot to open code. Add this folder. I'm going to close my PowerShell window and open this up. Okay, so I am not going to go into deep about what the folder structure in this video. I just want to get you up and running and returning some value. So first thing first, I want to go into my program.cs, and in here I just want to configure the port at which my application will get served. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead in here and I'm going to type in use URLs. I'm going to go http://localhost and port 3000. All right. So this is the address where I want my application to be served with. By the way, probably a good idea if you have this C# extension installed. It probably installs automatically when it sees this project. So just make sure you have that installed to make your life easier. Okay, so once I've added my URL, I'm going to go ahead and open the terminal. I'm going to type in .NET run to run my application. Okay, there it is. I'm going to go ahead, open that, and we get hello world. So how do we get this hello world? To quickly give you an idea, in C# the main function called main is the first one that gets executed. So comes here, it sees this great web host builder. Web host builder is something that .NET Core provides to build the server and create our application. It then loads up the startup file, all the configuration in the startup file, and part of the startup file is these couple lines here that basically take the context of the request. And so the context is anytime we make a request, the context gets created and we can do something with it, and that helps us return the information. It takes any request and writes hello world. So essentially, if we go to any route, it will just output hello world, right? So one thing right now, if we make a change, it will not appear straight away. So equivalent of help module replacement, we want to actually run .NET watch run. So we're going to be watching for changes and changing our application at the same time. Okay. So what I want to introduce here is a little bit of more middleware, and I'm going to do use MVC with default route, and I'm going to delete this line here. So I want to remove the old middleware that was just outputting hello world, and I want to use MVC with default routing. And for this to work, I'm actually going to need to go into my services. I'm going to have to add MVC here. So again, I just want to get you up and running as fast as possible. So in the next video, I'm going to go over a little bit more in detail of how this works. But for now, just follow my steps exactly, and you should be good. Next thing, I want to create a folder called controllers. Now this has to be called controllers, and the reason why I'll explain later. And I'm gonna make a profile controller since we are working with profiles on our Vue application, so that's what I want to call it. So profile controller.cs. Okay, so this is our C# file. Let's go ahead and take this namespace from our startup.cs and say dot controllers. So I'm saying dot controllers for this folder that it's in. Okay, and in here I want to create a public class called profile controller. Cool. And I want this profile controller to inherit from controller. And by pressing Ctrl dot when it's underlined with squiggly red, I can import this namespace here, which is essentially where this controller class resides. Next, I want to do a public string, and I want to say get profile name, and all I want to do is return hello world name. Okay, now if we go to our application and we just hit enter, it's going to give a 404, which is good. And the way you navigate to this controller and this action, so just make a mental note that this is called a controller and this is called an action. Okay, so controllers have actions. First, we have to specify a controller name, and then we have to specify the action name. This can get overridden, by the way. So, oh, something went wrong. Let me actually just restart my server real quick. There we go. Let me refresh, and there we get our hello world name. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually say Bob. Let me refresh here. Bob. Okay, cool. So what can we do? We can do stuff like passing a parameter to this action. So let's say string name, and we will do something simple like plus name, so we concatenate the string and return it. Okay, so let's go ahead and type in name and say that it equals to Bob, and there we go. Let's type in Anton, and there we go. Okay, obviously we're not going to be fiddling out too much in the URLs, but as long as you got this working, you will be ready to proceed into the future tutorials. If you find this too hard, feel free to watch my other videos on .NET Core. They should help you out. But if you're feeling comfortable following along, I will be explaining more stuff in the following videos. But this will be it for now. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and as always, see you in the next episode.